Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, a big show coming your way tonight as always. Plenty of pics from around the state in Catch of the Week after a very windy weekend in Melbourne. Many people not getting out on our bays due to the conditions. Tonight we have all the info on a survey of recreational fishers. We hear some details learnt from the ear bone of a big Chinook salmon out of Purrumbete, and we see how good the prawn run was last week in the Gippsland Lakes. There's plenty to talk about, so let's get into it with a big welcome to the man who travels by kayak. Adam Ring, welcome, Ads.
Thanks, Dave, and a wild and windy weekend just gone, so it'd be interesting to see what turns up in Catch of the Week. But a very, very quick shout out to those who have family members or friends that were affected by the fires over the weekend. Yeah. Nasty stuff. We actually had a rep in the industry who we've dealt with for a long time that lost his home, so big shout out to him, you know who he is. Crazy weekend. We haven't had a weekend like that for a while.
No. It's always a big welcome to the man all the way from Shepparton, Stephen Victor Trelford. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you very much, Dave. Yeah, windy weekend. I tell you what, trying to get a line of bead on a duck. So pretty safe.
It was the opening of duck season on the weekend.
Correct.
They let you guys sleep in for a little bit. Didn't start till about 9 or so?
Exactly. It was a 9 o'clock opening. Now, there was a lot of sort of like, I don't know about this, is it going to work or not type of thing. But actually it went across really well because the guys got up, 5 or 6 aspirins, bacon and eggs, cup of coffee.
Did they party until 3 in the morning instead of 1?
Yeah,
I just that extra 2 hours of sort of late time in the morning?
Exactly, yeah.
So what happens when it's windy like that? Do you just get the Uzis out? Or
more lead.
Because you can't aim.
More lead.
Yeah. Just go to aim to the left a bit.
Yeah, that's right, exactly, yeah. But no, it's good numbers. The guys were out. A lot of actually guys took the opportunity to shoot on private property, like channels and turkey nest dams and that type of thing. So, it's pretty successful actually.
So, Charlie, tell me a bit about, there was a lot of publicity, and I'm not going to say it's negative, but there's a few issues. Yeah. And what I read, and I know nothing about duck hunting other than I used to watch Elmer Fudd, the
Wascally Rabbit.
Duck season or something, however he used to say it. But just tell me, what is the issue with enforcement? Is there not enough enforcement? I mean, who enforces duck shooting laws? Like in fishing, we have fisheries officers.
Yeah.
What do they have in hunting?
You've got a few guys in the game management as far as...
A few guys?
Yeah, but not too many, you're right. And I think they actually tapered those back a bit this year. But then they recruited quite a few people from different organisations to sort of try and pull together the weekend as far as compliance.
Like the army, like Laurie was suggesting?
Yeah. So, but a lot of it's down to, giving the authorities the, some of the powers to enter the waterways and things like that. Now, I believe that, that they're restricted in a lot of ways to actually enforce the law. Now, us as duck shooters, we're not unlike other people that do other sports. We're always tarred to the brush of those who do the wrong thing. It's as simple as that. So even us as duck shooters want to get rid of those people and clean up the sport, so that's no problem.
There you go. We'll talk a little bit more, I think, about duck shooting, because I'd like to hear a couple of things about what happened. And anyway, folks, let's have a look at what's been caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano, providing reliable, trustworthy, quality fishing gear for your enjoyment.
And like I said in the opener, boys, while it was windy on the bays in Port Phillip and Western Port, some magnificent fish were caught around the state. But if you got out before before Friday when the northerlies hit, because it really did start on Friday, we had a pretty good week during the week. And there's times in life when you just wish Tony Tardio was on the set tonight, because a couple of good names here. But anyway, let's kick it off. Down at Rye, there's a very, very good run of calamari, and Nadia Vincitorio is Tony Tardio would just
roll
roll
off
off
the tongue.
Tony's tongue.
Yeah.
But Nadia, a fantastic calamari, and there is some beautiful calamari around at the moment. Good size.
Unreal.
And do you know what? I'm going to make a prediction here that we are probably in for the best winter calamari season that we've ever had on record. I mean, normally around that July, August, even leading to September, some big breeding calamari, the big females are out. The size of the calamari now is going to reflect in monster catches in about August this year, I reckon.
Going to get bigger.
Write it down.
And Nadia's
Check
a classic, you know. It's a.
I thought the
good fish.
poaching season was taking the highlight, but this was taken over now.
Yeah,
wait
no,
till
poaching season closed. Let's get on with it. Andy, another one for Tony Tardio. Andy Filatov, a lovely calamari off Rye, or a couple of calamari off Rye there. A couple of good fish there too.
Yeah.
eh?
Yeah.
Is it?
That one standing up by itself looks like it's just like, hey, I'm on camera.
Is
He
the,
might have a couple of fingers up his back.
Is the, all right.
I'll
Is
do
the-
that too, I suppose. when
Is
a couple
the,
of
is
fingers
the
up there.
calamari season something we take a little bit for granted now? As in, we had the Mornington Pier experience, which was off its head.
I know.
Now it seems to be filtering through the rest of the bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we just sort of go, oh yeah, I could just go catch calamari?
What do you class as a season? Because they are all year round.
Yeah.
There might be a little bit in December where they shut down a little bit because there's 4 million jet skis in our
Yeah.
bays. But
Well, I
really,
suppose it's that type of thing where you can, you know, we look at it from a retail perspective,
Yeah,
but you could relay it to calamari fishing. It's just good, better, or best. It's not.
and you'd
it's
have
never
to say
terrible.
July, August is probably the best.
Yeah.
But gee, there's some good fish around at the moment. Let's keep going. And Lee Ryan headed offshore from Ocean Grove and got a snook.
Snook.
Now, people argue pike or snook, and we
It's a
get
snook.
Yep.
that's a snook. What's the difference between a snook and a pike, Ads?
It's a snook.
No glass controlly, I tell you. All right, let's keep moving on. Phil Jordan, he headed down to Port Welshpool and landed a lovely dummy
Phyllis.
shark. Well done, Phil.
Yep.
Well played, sir.
That is a lovely table fish there, isn't it?
Yep,
Just
there's definitely one released.
absolutely beautiful.
So you might be right.
We always talk about this lake and Lake Tyers. It's just a sensational part of the world.
Yes.
And it just keeps keeping on. Have a look at this Zane Mudkanchana. Did I say that right?
But Kachan.
close. We're gonna get, I think.
Mudkanchana and Tony Tardio, that would roll off his tongue.
Yep.
But that is
That's
every
a
bit
good
of a
dusky.
classic dusky flathead, isn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, the sun glistening on the on the skin of that flathead is just
Zane's
it's
got
a
his tongue
glorious,
out.
glorious fish.
It's a ripper.
It's a ripper. Now, boys, last week we dared to put a hot spot on. That was different. We said the prawns were running at Lakes Entrance, and
Did.
I had a bit of inside info from someone who said that the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of last week were going to be the 3 best nights for prawns for the whole year.
So we just...
Well, I tell you what, Maria Sabo sent us this photo. Maria,
Oh.
I tell you what, if that ain't destined for the best goddamn pasta in the world, I'll go he. But Maria, thank you so much for sending that photo in. Now, you've shown up. We have a very good staff member down at Tackwell Cranbourne in Liz.
Yep.
And Liz hit the prawns as well, but Liz just hasn't got the photos right yet. I mean, she did some good ones, but Maria, that is just absolutely sensational. We're all looking at
This
it
is a
here
bit more
because
old school where they sit up against stubby so you can see how big they are.
some good sized prawns there, yeah. It'd be a remiss of us not to mention the Burmagui marlin bite,
unbelievable.
whether it's
It's
striped, there's
unbelievable.
some blacks, there's some blues, but the stripes are dominating at the moment. And Heath Wright got his first one out with his old man. Well done, Heath. A beautiful striped marlin out of Burmagui.
I can't remember it being any better than what it has been this season. So
No. 2005 was a very good year. I went back and had a look at, because I fished it 2005 and
Yep.
it was like catching garfish.
They must have been thick.
Yeah, I mean, they're that thick. They're that thick. I heard during the week that Jared Day got one, but anyway.
It's an exceptional season.
Now, we bang on about the Crater Lakes, Purrumbete and Bull and Marai, and have a look at this for a trout out of Purrumbete. Tim Boosman's, 8 pound, 11 ounces. That is a trophy brown in anyone's books.
That is.
And is that not one of the best conditioned big trout you've ever seen? Normally they can get a little bit average looking at size.
Yeah.
That is one of the most immaculate looking big brown trout you'll ever see.
That is amazing. All right, let's. It'd be unheard of, Trelly, if we didn't have a nice Murray cod to.
That's right.
To just finish it off, because there's a lot of cod starting to come on the bite now. And Max Mulday got a beautiful 75 centimetre Murray cod up at Lake Mulwala. That's a beautiful looking cod too, isn't it? Glistening in the sun as well.
Yeah, I think it's a comp every weekend. But that cod's probably.
There you go. If you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au.
Next on Talking Fishing, Fisheries news, including all the info on a survey being conducted by the Victorian Fisheries Authority, right after this.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
And I don't know, boys, whether it's the end of abalone poaching season, but there's none in tonight's news.
Short season this season.
Yeah, short season.
Yeah, a bit cold, maybe.
Maybe.
Northerly wind not friendly to abalone poachers, but anyway,
Not good with their stockings on.
Not much on. Yeah. All right, first one. Let's kick it off. The headline is "Help Make Recreational Fishing Even Better," and this is all about a big initiative by the Victorian Fisheries Authority, boys, to help make the popular pastime of recreational fishing even better in Victoria. Anglers and divers are being encouraged to complete an online survey to provide feedback on a range of topics. Victorian Fisheries Authority CEO Travis Dowling said the survey would gather information about how often people fish, what species they target, their favourite fishing waters, and their opinions on a range of matters, including some size and bag limits. So if you've got an opinion on any of that stuff, you need to get into this survey, because it's not too often that they actually engage a pretty widespread survey, boys. It's pretty good. Everyone who completes the survey will be entered into a draw for one of 30 spinning reels, valued at $239 each. So there's a bit of a prize if you enter in too.
Stella.
Not tipping that at $239, unless it's used and been overboard. Yeah. The survey delivers on a commitment of the state government's Target 1 Million plan, which is investing $46 million, including $9 million from rec fishing licence fees, to get more people fishing more often. So it's a good cause and it's good use of this stuff. We are encouraging everyone to get online and complete the survey so we can better understand your views, invest in the right areas, and make more informed choices about improving recreational fishing opportunities across the state. The Victorian Fisheries Authority has engaged the Australian Survey Research, ASR, to conduct the survey on their behalf. So professional people, boys.
Yep.
You guys got the email?
Yep.
Yep, there you go. Well, it's working, and hopefully you people at home have got the email. ASR is very experienced in the field and has completed similar work in the past for fisheries agencies in Victoria and New South Wales. Get onto the survey, www.fishsurvey.com.au. Get on it and make yourself heard, because all that information will go towards what's the next election commitments, what's the next things that fisheries need to do, and so forth. So there you go.
Very good.
Have a look at this one, boys. You're going to love this.
Okay.
The headline, Court Results. Now, we spoke about this one in January. All 4 offenders involved in this case have now been tried at court. You may remember that this group were detected at Meetung in August last year using 2 trammel nets, each over 100 metres long, and had collected 112 litres of mussels.
Wow.
Which is well over the catch limit. Fisheries officers at the time seized all their equipment, including the boat and trailer. And I think we may have even looked at the boat and trailer and gone,
Let's raffle that.
Well,
Yeah, that was that tiny
at the
little...
Trellies Extravaganza in November.
We'll raffle that one.
I think we've got a good photo here
$50.
of. Let's have a look at the photo. There you go. So that's
Used
from
gloves.
Yeah. Now the court results that are really important. Earlier in January, the VFA reported the results for 2 of those involved that had appeared at the Bairnsdale Magistrate Court. The male was handed a fine of $3,500. The female received a fine of $3,000 as part of an aggregate order. Now the second pair have been. They've also appeared at the Bairnsdale Magistrates Court relating to the possession and use of the 2 trammel nets and for exceeding the catch limit for mussels. And in total, the 4 were convicted and fined $11,500. The boat trailer and equipment worth a total of $2,000 has now been forfeited and will be raffled at Trellies Extravaganza. No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But they've been forfeited, so there's $13,500. And remember, if you ever see or suspect illegal fishing, call 13Fish. Make the call and make a difference. Because those people are, I don't reckon they're too happy at the moment.
No, that's right.
So there you go. This is an interesting one, boys. No, they
are. They're all interesting.
They're always interesting. These boys over here to my left. They
fetish with scissors, didn't he? The last.
I was going to say, he had a few pair of braces there.
He did, didn't he? The last photo you showed, he had a fetish with scissors. He had like 12 pairs.
600 pairs of scissors.
Well, when you've got 100 metres of net out and you've got logs and stuff, you've got to cut round it sometimes.
So that means you've got 12 accomplices, but or just one each hand.
One each hand, I think.
One each finger.
Have a look at this one. The facts about that salmon. Now, in April last year, we showed this on our show.
Yeah.
Jason Castles of Sunbury caught this thumping Chinook salmon from Lake Purrumbete. It weighed 8.22 kilo or 18 pound, and it's the largest confirmed Chinook salmon caught in Victoria since at least 2007. That's not a bad effort.
It's good fish.
Yeah.
Good fish.
Now, Jason had the fish mounted and donated the otolith, which is the fish ear bone, which is pictured down the bottom right there, to fisheries managers to determine the age of the fish. Now, get this.
Yep.
You ready to get this?
Okay.
If we
Pay attention,
can we
Trelly.
pan over to Trelly for a second? He's just, you are just, what do they call it? It's like a greyhound about to jump out of the boat.
Go.
Get this, Trelly. Get this. The otolith revealed the fish was just over 4 years old. That's size. 4 years old, and was stocked in 2014 as a yearling. That's a solid growth rate from our fantastic Crater Lakes. As Chinook salmon live to over 5 years old, we expect even bigger fish to come from the Crater Lakes in future.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, there's bigger to come.
Amazing
I'll
growth
repeat, 8.22 kg, 18 pound. Fisheries are also trialling the release of smaller Chinook salmon grown in temperature-controlled conditions at our Snobs Creek hatchery to grow even bigger fish.
That's mad.
I just think, through winter, and I mean, I don't know Chinook salmon. I don't know a lot about them. I know that I went there in June, July last year when I got back from Canada, so it might have even been later, August, and they were on then. Yeah. But it was a very different. We were trolling spoons, whereas
spooning.
But throughout summer, if you like, they were doing this pilchard thing.
Pulling them up like snapper.
So maybe there's a few different methods in that, but what a fishery we've got, and they're saying that they're going to get even bigger.
If you actually go to Purrumbete, which is the one next door, they've got a great fishing club and they've got a great venue there, which is always available for hire.
Well, that's at the caravan park, isn't it?
Yeah, it's down on the foreshore. Yeah,
Old Mate.
Yeah, and no, not that one. The other one at Bullameri, not Purrumbete. The other one. The club.
You don't mean next? Purrumbete's next door.
Yeah, Purrumbete's next door.
You mean what's next door to Purrumbete?
Yeah, Bullameri.
It's just got
Bullameri.
So, you go there, they've got some great facilities which are up front. I think it's, Camperdown, right next door.
Which got evacuated on the weekend with the fires, unfortunately. But
you'd
they
probably go into the crater, I reckon. They'd be safe. And there's some great old photos there of some huge salmon. Salmon down there from the days they used to stock it back early days. So really good. If you're driving past there, go and have a look.
Yeah. Those club rooms, you're right, down there, they look like fairly modern facilities down there. Whereas you go to Purrumbete, nothing against the people at Purrumbete, but it looks like something in the 1960s.
Yeah.
It's pretty old. And
they got some new stuff at Purrumbete. Yeah, John down there.
Yeah.
It's got some really new Jake.
Oh, they've got a great little tackle shop there at the boat ramp. There, you got to go through the caravan park to launch your boat.
Yeah.
And through the tackle shop and all that stuff. So it's really good. But obviously, Bullamerri, there's no camping out there, and it's a bit of a different sort of lake. Yeah.
Unless you hire the.
But Camperdown's a beautiful town too.
Yes.
So you go there and. It's a pretty special all weekend event. The pubs, traditional pubs.
Yeah,
in fact, I reckon the pub at Camperdown still has, Adam, this is going to be way after you were way before you were born.
Pair of Dave's jocks still.
Let's go to Camperdown and enjoy the market. Oh, old people talk, Dave.
Adam, can you name a pub meal that was famous in the 1970s that you just cannot get in a pub now?
I'd say ham, steak and pineapple.
Ham, steak and pineapple was it? Adam, have you ever had a ham, steak and pineapple?
I've had ham steak. 100%.
You have?
Yep, Mum.
Well, when you were
when
about
we were
one.
Kids, Mum had ham steak every now and then.
Didn't even rehearse that. I got it.
You got there's not too many. Carpetbag steak is the other one. Do you know what that was? Carpetbag steak. That's where they slid open the eye fillet and put oysters in it.
Yeah, oysters in it.
It sounds
might be showing our age.
What year were you born?
85.
I reckon 86 they fashioned out the ham, steak and pineapple. Anyway. Very, very quickly, you've got about a minute to go.
Yeah.
Back on the duck hunting thing. Is there an issue about determining what species of duck you're allowed to shoot?
I couldn't wrap my head around this. We were having a chat about this off air last week.
Yeah. Yeah, you can usually identify them by their flight pattern. I mean, it's a bit like use guys. I'd come down to use guys and they'd say, what was that fisherman pass? You go, that's a salmon. You go,
what about if me, for example, never ever been duck shooting in my life, and I rolled out, thought I'm going to give this duck hunting a crack. How would I know? If it flies, you just shoot.
Well, you got to do the test, you see. You're probably pretty quick on the swan to a duck.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty confident.
The swans are easy to hit.
On the way in tonight, I saw a cockatoo in a windscreen. Melly went back and picked him up, but Adam lost my last one.
Just a million. There are obviously a million corrals now around Shepparton and all area.
You have to shoot through them.
There's only 900,000 now after a week.
You do. You can see if you got a certain flight pattern, a wing beat. Some have got an upturned nose, like a freckled duck.
And you're not allowed to shoot some of them.
You're not allowed to shoot some of them. So it is a bit of a split-second thing. And
so you've got to do a test to identify ducks before you get your licence?
Exactly, yeah. So
is that your gun licence or your hunting licence?
No, your hunting licence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you hand out the hunting licence in your shop?
Yeah, $50. Covers everything.
Is it like a boat licence type arrangement? We guarantee you pass.
I knew, as I asked that question, I knew the answer was yes, and there was some sort of
pineapple on it. But no, it is a test. It's a written one. You've got to go and watch a video and tick off the squares. Do you shoot? Don't you shoot?
What do? You go and watch the video in your office out the back there.
Yeah, you watch the video and you got to before you go out.
Out the back in your office.
Yeah, well, no, it's at the gun club. It's a recognised proper thing.
It's a proper thing, Dave.
Up next, product of the week and plenty more right after this on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking Fishing.
Now, when doing things on television, they recommend you don't work with a few things. Kids and children are the same thing. Animals and trelly. I'm going to add one more. Fishing line. Because tonight we're talking about pre-tied rigs because they've become a massive, massive part of our business working in tackle shops. But try and bear with us because they're impossible to see and they've already tangled each other up. So, pre-tied rigs have come a very, very long way in the last few years. It used to be just a generic little bit of wire with a couple of clips and clip everything together and hope that nothing goes wrong. Now everything is tied for a purpose. It is very modern. We're using fluorocarbons, the whole kit and caboodle. So, without further ado, the boys are getting bored. Look at them. I've already started talking. Dave's got a study in his hand. Trelly's giving me a little leg massage.
Mate, I'm just listening. I'm happy to listen.
So,
it's all good.
Pre-tied rigs. There's a couple of things I want to recommend with pre-tied rigs. As a general rule of thumb,
get them pre-tied.
No, actually, don't.
All right.
But if you're not sure,
no wonder we drink.
You can use these as a backbone to prompt you to learn how to tie and how things look in their finished form. Like you have a look at this, for example. This is a garfish rig.
I'll hold this one as long as you don't pull it too tight.
No. This is a garfish rig. Now, a lot of people, especially those just getting into the game, as soon as you mention use a float, they're lost. They're not sure how to rig them up. They're not sure how to set them up.
Second half, the rig's lost because the camera angle is not as wide as it.
So this is a pre-tied rig done by Gillies, and it more than anything shows you exactly how to rig it up. There's a little swivel at the end so you can tie it to your main line. You're fishing straight away. Split shot sinkers spaced out beautifully to make sure that the actual float sits at the right depth because it's very, very important.
Perfectly sized long shank hook for a garfish.
Yeah, so normally, 10 or 12
can I just add here that something really important, there's a lot of punters about to go fishing, not for the first time, but they're a bit inexperienced. They're going away for Easter to some lovely destinations like down at Anderson's Inlet or Gippsland Lakes or whatever, and you don't need to be an expert on the knots. You don't need to be an expert on the rigs. You can come and buy this off the shelf as a pre-tied rig. Yeah,
that's right. So listen, they're as good as they've ever been, and I think that comes down to they're actually using premium material. So fluorocarbons, good quality hooks, and all the bits and pieces there. Surf rigs, which we've known and loved. We'd sell more surf rigs in the shop than anything.
Yeah.
Because it's, again, pretty similar to the garfish rig. As soon as you say paternoster, they're not quite sure how to get the droppers happening. So there's a couple of different versions. Charlie, you've got one there. This is the standard one we've seen forever and a day. It looks like 400-pound mono. Everything's crimped. There's clips everywhere. It's
you'd have to have a $120 crimping kit to actually make this
that. That's right.
rig. But you buy it for a few dollars already made.
And it's ready to go. So you're not going to bust anything off. Charlie's holding a little bit more of a refined version. This sort of shows you, so it's a little bit more realistic. That'll be on a 30-pound litre material. Again, a bit more realistic for our conditions. Surf popper at the top. We recommend to everyone that fishes the surf down here to use a surf popper because you've always got something in the water to attract and catch a fish. Depending on conditions, things like blue bait, pippies, they fall off very easily, especially in the surf. So popper at the top, a nice little 1.0, it's an O'Shaughnessy hook on the bottom. Everything's clipped, so you can clip your sinker on. It's easy to tie, but more than anything, it shows you how to set this up.
Yeah.
The point is to learn how to do this yourself.
Or never do it yourself and just buy it pre-tied because it's that good.
That's right.
That's what I do.
Surf rigs, all the way down to the most basic. This is literally 2 5.0 octopus hooks tied onto a little bit of leader.
Top one snelled.
Top one snelled.
That's what a million fishermen would tie. But why tie them anymore when someone can tie it for you?
It's literally the easiest rig in the world.
That's a brim rig.
Pink brim. Pink brim. That's all it is.
This is one that is a little bit different, and we've featured them before on the show, but I'm going to bring them up again because these feather style rigs, Dave, you take the snapper one, and I've got a little whiting one here. I don't know I don't claim to know too much about anything, but the feathers on hooks, I don't get. I can only imagine they've taken it from the fly tying fraternity, and this is what I've ended up with. But the one thing I can't argue with is the results. The amount of times I've seen these rigs sitting next to stuff that's been tied ourselves with no feathers, and these catching the hell out of fish and nothing happening on the rest. I can't explain it, but it seems to work. It's quite a flashy material. There's bits of silver, quite reflective. Maybe that's got something to do with it. There's glow beads on the snapper one. There's little red beads on the whiting one.
And all you need on this one for a snapper is probably a couple of squid strips.
Bait them. I was about to bring that. Bait them.
Bit of scent.
Yeah, well, definitely bait them.
Looking at them first up, you'd say you don't need bait.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And if the snapper bite was hot, you probably don't. But best results are a bit of a squid strip on it.
That's right. Definitely bait them.
And they're quality Shinto octopus.
They're Lumo hooks.
Lumo hooks. So they're covered in that Lumo coating, powder coated.
Yeah. Because Lumo is another thing that we've spoken about endlessly and has become quite in fashion in our game. So I guess the point of covering pre-tied rigs, and I apologise that we couldn't show them better, but dealing with fishing lines is an absolute nightmare. I guess the point was, for a few reasons, they're as good a quality as they've ever been. So you can take confidence into actually using them. But more importantly, I think it's still important to try and replicate these rigs. Learn how to tie them yourselves, because they're not perfect. They get you out of trouble.
Yep.
And if you're not confident or you haven't done much fishing, by all means, you can rely on these, but use them to see how it all works, because it can give you ideas in maybe stuff you have been rigging that hasn't been working quite so well. It can just give you that little bit of an edge. And there is literally a pre-tied rig for every species.
And just clip them on, like you mentioned in your email. What are these? Rigs for...
people that are not quite sure what they're doing.
Dummies.
Rigs for dummies, that'll do.
Yeah, it's good. We need that stuff.
Yeah.
So there you go. Pre-tied rigs. It's an important part to what we do.
Yeah.
And give them a go, I guess.
I've got one last question before we end this segment. A bit like Trelly with the tags on his shirt that he leaves on, and they go back on the shelf with a scent on them. What's the chances of these getting back in their packets tomorrow and being on sale at Tackle World?
Let me know, because you'll be trying to pick them up out of your briefcase.
I'll give you the first tip. There you go. Put them back in your bag.
This is the ultimate rig.
Want them all packed up?
The ultimate rig.
But then you need the rig organiser, don't you? You didn't bring it in. There's a little round rig organiser which you roll around and stick it in a little foam tin.
It turns out the company we buy them from have gone under.
We actually do have those.
All right, can I change the subject to something serious, boys? I saw on the Victorian Fisheries Authority's Facebook page today that, Charlie, this is something they do, that the inland guys, they actually drag like a grapnel anchor sort of thing along the rivers to try and find illegally set lines and nets in some of the inland waterways.
Yeah, you got to watch out for them.
Yeah, and
they do,
you know, so there's that going on.
Yep.
And I'm going to go back to duck hunting because that was a bit of fun. Right, 2 weekends ago, I got approached by a fisheries officer on a jet ski.
Yep.
And you know, he had all the gear and he was well equipped. Has the Game Management Authority? Let's go back to it because I don't think you quite answered the question. Who are their enforcement officers? Are they equipped to do the job? And is there enough of them?
To all those three things, no, they're not. They haven't got enough of them. They're not equipped properly, and they haven't got enough numbers.
Yeah. So how are they going to succeed? I mean, is duck hunting is duck hunting from Malakuta to Portland?
It's Victoria. It's Victoria and South Australia.
And but Victoria's got to look after Victoria at all public waters.
No, not all public waters.
So only certain waters?
Yeah, some.
How many waters in Victoria do you think?
I think there's something like I'll get it wrong, 130 game reserves.
Yeah, okay.
Where you pretty much can't shoot unless it's in the game season, pretty much, vermin stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's other waterways that like the likes of Nellakudi, Ranga Basin.
You're allowed to shoot the Goulburn River, for instance.
You can. The Goulburn River, it's not in a national park, so so any state parks, state forests, that type of thing. But yes,
there you go.
Yeah, but I don't see what the problem is. I mean, it's free range, it's cage free.
Well, they're copping a bit. They're on the ABC, and Jarla's been on, talking about it, and it's just
cage free, hormone free, organic.
Yeah, done.
Good food.
Up next, Kramer's mailbag. Right after this on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
From apparel to footwear, the Performance Fishing Gear collection is built for fishing of all kinds. Whether you wade in sun-scorched saltwater flats, hike into mountain rivers, or fish anywhere in between, we want to keep you out there and keep you protected. As well as pants, shorts, and vented shirts, the collection includes arm sleeves, neck gaiters, hats, and shoes with drainable midsoles. The apparel and footwear in this line are built around fishing, but can be used in any setting, handling the toughest environments.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Plenty of mailbags, so let's get into it straight away. This actually came from Channel 31. Hi, David. This is from Christine, who works out the back here in the office here. She goes, Lois from Essendon called us. She's a viewer of yours wanting to chat about her thoughts on your new set. I said I would email you and ask if you might be kind enough to call her back. Well, sorry, I didn't call you back, Lois. But if you want to, I don't know, right into Kramer's mailbag.
It depends. Do you like it or you hate
You
it?
think? Yeah.
Well,
What about his
there's
set?
been a few mixed
mixed
people. They
results.
someone wants us to go back on the couch.
I know.
That's like the 1970s.
No, we're going forward.
We're going forward. We're at the bar. We're stuck at the bar. So Lois, whatever you want to say, make sure it's good. Otherwise, we're not going to listen to you. This is from Andrew. Hi, Andrew. I've noticed in the Victorian Recreational Fishing Guide that it states that carp must not be returned to the water. Instead, must be killed immediately, and yet toadies and puffers must be returned to the water immediately without harm or injury, and that fines apply if you don't. Why the difference in these fish? I know one is freshwater and the others are marine, but both seem to be rubbish fish. What's the difference? Also, as a novice fisherman who has just been given a surf rod, where is the closest surf fishing area to the Melbourne CBD where there is a good chance of catching a fish? I don't mind travelling, so I'm guessing the Peninsula, spelt with an R, or Geelong, but have no idea where. Well, let's kick it off firstly with you do need to return you need to kill carp and not return them, or puffers and toadies you need to return. Boys, you got an opinion on that?
Well, some of the new Australians just like carp, actually. They keep them, cook them.
Yeah.
I kill them, just throw them up the bank. But
Okay, but the Japanese like toadies, and
That's
yet
right.
they're not allowed to keep them. They must return them. Well,
Nah, you're allowed to.
you're allowed to keep a toadie if you want to eat it.
Yeah, I reckon you'd be able to. They were just trying to cut down on people necking them for no reason because they were sick of.
Oh, well, that's an interesting thing. I don't know that.
I reckon
Are toadies allowed to be kept for
Yeah,
human
they're not
consumption?
protected.
You sure?
Yeah, I don't think they're protected.
It says here in the Rec Fishing Guide they must be returned to the water immediately without harm or injury, and that fines apply if you don't. So
I don't
does that
Boiling
mean you
water.
can't get a feed of toadies and puffers?
Nah, because remember when they brought that legislation in, they were using examples of officers walking down on the pier and old mate sitting there with a pile of 30 toadies next to him just dead for no reason because they were a pain.
Yeah, okay.
But the reason for not being able to keep them...
don't they live out of water? They look like they should.
Apparently not. European carp being an introduced species.
So that's the difference.
Ah,
That
yeah,
a European
introduced.
carp is introduced.
Yeah.
What are they called?
Pest.
Yeah. Whereas toadies and puffers are native.
That's right.
So we must look after them. And if you want to go surf fishing, the closest beaches to Melbourne CBD, well, I think you've answered your own question.
Yeah.
Probably Jan Juck if you want to go Geelong
Off
way,
the beach.
and Gunnamatta if you want to go down the peninsula. So there's two beauties for you. Nikki writes in, hi Kramer. G'day, Nikki. I'm a subby working along the waterways of Victoria. I recently came across an illegal net in the upper waters of the Alinda Creek. Unfortunately, it contained a dead ricali, which is a native water rat. I think we've got a photo of this that Nikki sent in. So, I mean, that's a well, hang on, I'll read this. It's brilliant to know water rats are up here. We rarely see them. And I think that's quite a big rat. I know it's not the best picture to see.
Yeah.
Just a shame it had such a horrific death. Sadly, this waterway often contains many opera house nets.
I was going to say, is that like an opera house?
Well, that's an old mud crab. Yeah, that's got
Yeah.
the slots on the end, and you take them up Queensland on the mud crabs.
Yeah, we still they still
We
sell them.
sell them. I've included a couple of pictures. I'm unfamiliar with this net. Perhaps you could shed some light. We have some pretty epic crays and yabbies up here.
That's
And hoping you
probably
can touch base on the legalities around freshwater netting in the coming episodes. Well, certainly that sort of stuff.
But that you can use fresh water in private waters.
property.
You can't use them in public waters. And the water rat, very interesting to know.
That's if that's an opera house net.
No, it's not. Well, it's the same.
No.
That's a trap.
Yeah, it's a trap,
Yeah.
and you're allowed to use them. So they are gun traps for mud crabs up in Darwin.
Yeah.
Those sort.
Yeah. Very interesting about that water rat. Water rats are probably one of the best worldwide known furs, such as making coats out of and things. And I know for a fact, because my father, I used to trap water rats, right?
Yeah.
For the skins, and Dad's a student.
What's with the name Ricali?
I think that's the Ratatouille type, movie type pronunciation for their scientific name.
Yep.
But I remember a coat being made from Australian water rats, and it was worth £5,000.
Really?
When a house was worth about 12,000
Didn't know that.
pounds.
Well, that'd be
£5,000
worth
pounds.
tens of thousands of
It
dollars.
was absolutely, they are absolutely incredible
Is that
worldwide
right?
as far as quality-wise water rat, Australian water rat.
Do you ever come across water rats when you're out fishing now?
Yeah. There's quite a lot to Shep Lake in the Reedy Swamp where I grew up and all around there. Yep,
There you
still
go.
there.
All right, Francis writes to us, sent from his iPad, just like to know some more land-based fishing around Lake Tyers. We go to Mill Point a bit. Kids don't want to walk as far. If you can help, we'll appreciate. Thank you. Land-based at Lake Tyers, ads.
I would, apart from the main little boat ramps and jetties and bits and pieces, go for a bit of a drive all the way around Lake Tyers to the Glasshouse campground.
You've been round,
Round, yeah. So you drive up over, basically right over the top part, over, through now all that. Come down the other side, Glasshouse campground. You don't need a four-wheel drive to get there, though it is a little off-road track to get in there.
Yep.
It is a really, really long, sweeping flat, and you can walk out to the drop-off.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that seems like it's got the most potential. The brim would get up there in the night time and muck around. You get flatties to a metre, putting out a live bait or a live prawn, putting something over the drop-off. That's where I do.
Yep. Francis, I think that was. There's a bit of advice from Adam, who's been there, done that. Let's keep going. I'm not sure how long we've got to go, but awesome show, fellas. This is from Damien. I welcome the new size limits on trout and salmon species. However, personally, I would like to see a size limit of 25 centimetres across the board, which covers all public accessible waters, rivers, lakes, dams, etc. It would make things easier and less confusing for all of us. Under 18s, a size limit of 21 centimetres, he's suggesting.
Okay.
It would teach the young ones responsibility, catch and release practices, and how to measure a fish properly. Currently, most Victorian waters and lakes have no size limit. Why? Which can mean that places like Devil's Bend, Blue Rock, Eildon, etc., that could get an influx of anglers walking out with 10 centimetre trout legally. Aren't we then removing a large predator's food source and denying small trout to grow and flourish?
You need to fill out the survey for one.
Yeah,
that's
good
really,
idea.
Really good.
Fishingsurvey.com.au. But I guess the reason here is that many waters, a skinny river, and there's been no snow melt and no rain, the fish only grow to the size of the food source.
That's right.
So many fish may be small, and there's, let's face it, trout are introduced.
Yep.
And they can be restocked at any time.
And they're very easy.
There's no scientific reason there's no scientific reason to say that we need to put a tight size limit on trout.
Well, I guess the other thing about taking them to, and I agree wholeheartedly, I understand what he's trying to say, but I agree wholeheartedly with Fisheries here. They're stocking, the fish cannot reproduce in those systems.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And they're being stocked to be taken. And I think for at this stage where we're at trying to grow recreational fishing, it's important that young mate who's only 6 or 7 years old who catches his very first fish in a stocked residential pond can take it home and enjoy it. And then we build from there. So I think it's great
the only reason
feedback.
a larger size limit would be introduced is to create a trophy trout fishery.
Yeah.
But it's nothing to do with the science and the recruitment. We're getting yelled at here, and I've got one more. I'm going to talk about it later on. If you'd like to write into Kramer's mailbag, this is what you have to do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Coming up next, this week's Hotspots, and I'm also going to talk about an app and a website called Fish Ranger. We'll be back shortly on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worslam's Tackle World Cranbourne. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start. I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat.
Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for.
Hotspots, brought to you by Seamaster Batteries. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
And let's get into it with the hotspots for the week, because I think have a decent weekend coming up, boys.
Really?
After last weekend when no one could get out on Port Phillip Bay or Western Port because of the blowing northerlies of 40 odd knots, it's going to be an all right weekend this weekend. And I've got to say, this is like Fernando from ABBA back in the, what was it, Kev? The 75 or 80 or whatever it was. The rip is staying at the top of the charts. Yeah, a bit like Molly Meldrum, isn't it? The rip, yellowtail kingfish, are absolutely on fire. Talking to Matt Seeney yesterday. I'm
going to start referring to
do
him
yourself
as
a
yellowtail
favour
scad.
and get down to the, what was it?
I'm going to start referring to him as yellowtail scad. There's so many.
Talking to Matt Seeney yesterday, and he punched his way through that northerly on Saturday and just had an absolute ball on the kingfish. They are in great proportions. Probably the best season
definitely
on record.
Easily.
And get down to the rip this Saturday or Sunday. There's some great windows of opportunity. Rye, number 2, is a great place to go right now for some calamari. There just seems to be some really good calamari at the moment.
Lock it in.
Down there. So that is good. Let's head over to Western Port now. We're flying through these. Cats Bay. King George Whiting. That is the place to go if you want to catch
King George Whiting. It's not Cats Bay.
What do you mean?
Cat Bay, isn't it?
I looked at the map in great detail today, and I reckon it's Cats Bay.
Lots of King George Whitings.
The people behind the keyboards, you know,
hit the wrong button.
They will, no, I was going to say they will sort us out. They'll be on Facebook right now going, it's Cats Bay. Or it's Cat Bay.
Right in, Facebook. Team Adam or Team Dave?
Someone from Shepparton will probably say it's Pussy Bay. But anyway, is it Cats Bay or Cat Bay? It's off Phillip Island, right down the southern, southwestern end.
There you go.
There you go. Cats or Cat Bay. The elephant fish are here.
Oh, about time, about time.
And
we got a couple of reports.
We did get a couple of reports, but it's way too many photos to get in this week. But Tenby Point is a great place right now to get out on the elephant fish, just round from Coronella. But that whole area around there is just a really good place for
catch them off the beach there too, Tenby Point.
Yeah. They don't cook too good. They taste like your water tonight, I reckon. Elephant fish.
I've got to say, the water out of Channel 31 tonight was
world class. Mine was all right.
Was a bit like sucking on a pen and drinking the ink.
Come on.
It was absolutely, I've got to say, disgusting, the water in Channel 31 tonight.
Mine was good.
So much so I drank all that because I need to wash it down. But let's head offshore, not too far from Melbourne, boys, because I've got to say, during the windy time that we had on the weekend, I went for a drive to Cape Schanck on Sunday and got out. And we went
saw a heap of white water and spray, or
no, because the northerly it was actually quite calm.
Blew it flat,
blew it flat, except for 300 birds going absolute bananas offshore, about 200 metres off Cape Schanck. And again, talking to Matt Senior State, there are a lot of southern bluefin tuna.
There's a big tuna out there too.
They're yelling in my ears. I'm trying to talk. They need to talk when I'm in a break. Southern bluefin tuna. I'm telling you. Have we got it up? Did we
is there any tuna?
Oh, Barwon Heads. Sorry, I jumped ahead. Cape Schanck. Barwon Heads. There's a lot of southern bluefin tuna off there because that's where Matt's seen them. But Cape Schanck, which is the next one, put that one up. Cape Schanck, also southern bluefin tuna. I'm telling you, boys.
Okay.
Now's the time to get out there. So there you go. There's the hotspots for the weekend. If you can get out and the weather permits, get down there. Now, just another one, Kramer's mailbag, and I know I didn't get through them all, but this one here...
This is an important one, actually.
No, this was from Warren. Now,
this is good.
We know about this one, and I think we've kind of mentioned it, but hi guys, he writes, best fishing show by a very long way. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. You boys first brought the awesome fish ranging site to us a couple of years ago, and it's been the single best site for every bit of information that a boatie and fisho needs. Now, what we're talking about is a website, Fish Ranger. I'd have to say .com.au, but I'm not really sure. There's also a Facebook page, but Google it, because that's what you do. You get on the Google machine and just type in Fish Ranger. And anyway, I guess they put a lot of science into it to make it very, very accurate. And I've got to say, I think it is one of the most accurate sites. You know, there's so many of them these days.
Yeah, that's right.
Fish Ranger is a good one. And so I'll just keep reading this. Now they need our help to raise funds to keep them going, because there's absolutely no support commercially for it, but it is a great thing for the community. Can you guys do them a massive favour and support them on air, not only once, but for a few episodes? Well, we might do that, as this is a very worthy cause and that all viewers need to get behind and support. I'm sure that you have all the information, but they now have a Kickstart page where you can pledge a donation. Thanks a heap and keep up the good work, from Warren. Thank you, Warren. I think he was using his Mrs. page to do that. But Fish Ranger, if you haven't used it,
Have a look.
I use it all the time.
It's good. Yeah. It's very good.
Yeah, and it's just accurate, but
it's easy to read.
But it's in layman's terms.
Yeah,
Like, so many people, and I'm not going to bag Seabreeze, but so many people they go, oh, it's the arrows are red. It's no good for fishing. You got your arrows round the wrong way, mate. You know, like it's red down the bottom. You know, I mean, it's red, but should be up the top. You know, the Fish Ranger is just a simple and very accurate thing, and then you can hone in on where your home is. So
big one,
I'll go Sorrento.
Yep.
I want to know what it's going to be like in Sorrento, and it's localised to Sorrento.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, it's a good thing.
Jump on the support there because it's
Kickstart, whatever Kickstart. I think it's a bit like a GoFundMe.
It's like a funding. Yeah, it's a funding thing.
Yeah, there you go. Kickstarter, they're yelling in the ear. So, Charlie, now I've got no idea how long we've got to go, but 30 seconds. If you can answer in 30 seconds, if you were going to go to get a yellow belly this weekend, where would you go?
I'd go the Murray. I'd go because I've had some excellent reports on the Murray between Barmer up to probably Yalupna Island, spinnerbaits in the quieter waters. Last couple of weeks, we've had some really good reports. You know, don't pick on the faster flowing water and that type of thing. Pick in the slower waters and just work spinnerbaits. I've been catching some good ones.
Yep, there you go. That's it for Talking Fishing. We hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, a must-watch show when we are joined by the Minister for Water, Lisa Neville, hopefully with a few announcements regarding recreational fishing opportunities, and we celebrate on the eve of the total ban of netting in Cryo Bay. That's next week. Please make sure you join us for that one. Until we see you again next Tuesday on Talking Fishing, please stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.